Co-Creation Workshop: Health and Wellbeing Through Creativity. This workshop welcomed participants from Kingston health and care service providers, potential users of these services, providers of activities linked to art in the borough, as well as a group from the Kingston University Sustainable Design Master's course. These work together on the development of new concepts and possibilities for services aimed at enhancing well-being for the elderly and those living with dementia, and facilitating community involvement from the bottom up. In order to define these new concepts and possibilities, the workshop was developed on the principle of being person-centered, of considering people in terms of their assets before their needs and problems, which may have to be solved by others, and of fostering collaboration, not only among Kingston service providers, but also with the potential users of these services. Team 4 gathered a group of 4 people who worked together in order to find possible solutions to the following question: how to make available suitable activities in which informal carers can join in a supportive and empathetic environment. The informal carer is a vital part of the health system, providing a wide variety of essential services on a personal basis to support a loved one, usually a family member. The personal bond does not eliminate the physical and emotional burden. Help and advice on finance and available entitlements may be well provided by the various social services, but there is clearly a need to consider no less the inner turmoil and emotional swings, and to respond creatively to the emotional needs of both patient and the carer. Each participant was provided with a persona to help them be more confident and detailed in tackling the topic. Mark, after 45 years of happy marriage, has now become the main carer of his wife, Alice, who previously had been not only a housewife and a loving mother, but also notably active and helpful in the community. The weight of Mark's duties as a carer leave him both exhausted and depressed, and he seems to be getting little practical or emotional support from the children, nor from the friends Alice used to help. At present, Mark feels that he himself, as well as Alice, has been robbed of any life worth living. However, he hopes that if he could get suitable support, it might not be impossible for them to recover some little of their life together. Choosing one of the 5 ways to well-being developed by the New Economics Foundation was the first step towards launching the discussion and analyzing Mark's position. The process was guided in the first place by clarifying the challenges Mark is likely to face. Secondly, by understanding his world in terms of the people with whom he interacts and where. And finally, by analyzing the local assets that may help him to become aware of the services and so take part in activities from which he might benefit. Mark, since being the main carer for his wife, has developed his life and activities in terms of satisfying the needs and health requirements of Alice. Although he is devoted to his task of caring for her with all his strength and great love, this inevitably leaves him exhausted, so that he is frequently sad and lacks time or energy to consider his own interests. At this time, when he is in need of much support from people who know him and understand him, he instead feels the lack of any close connection with his local community. As a result, he is constantly feeling isolated. Although he would like to be involved in activities which would support both Alice and himself, and so offer some chance of improvement in their quality of life, it is very difficult for him to know where to start. He just does not know where to turn to find the information and eventually make use of any activities which are provided locally. At present, Mark's social connections are extremely limited, being totally related to Alice's health issues. Despite Alice's previous active involvement with the community, it seems that now, when they themselves are in desperate need of support, the networks of neighbors and friends, and even their own children, all remain distant from them and uninvolved. Although there are some places, such as local churches, which might seem ideal for meeting like minded people, Mark just does not have the time or energy to get involved and so share in their activities and consequent social benefits. After an analysis of the available community assets, it is clear that there exists a wide variety of activities, places, and centers which could bring support to Mark and Alice. However, it is very difficult for Mark to access them, since his interaction with the community is severely limited by his duties at home. It is almost impossible for him to become aware of these services, or even to find the initial motivation to search among the possibilities before involving himself with their activities. In their response to the initial question, the team decided to use as inspiration a project called Memory Street, currently running in Kingston, rather than invent a completely new service. This, therefore, was the approach which was included in their response. Memory Street is a project, the aim of which is to bring neighbors together and keep them connected through the shared experiences of displaying old and antique objects in their houses or shop windows, so that residents or visitors using the street can view as an exhibition trial. Beyond these, the scheme naturally invites people to comment and so get to know each other better as the varied interests and assets of the local community become known. The team decided that by using the same principle, they could generate a better and more engaging way to connect Mark and Alice with the community, and at the same time provide them with both support and relevant information. They decided to create an event inspired by Memory Street. Through natural mingling and talking, they aim to bring people of all kinds together in a street or district party. This event will help to bring neighbors together, and this will include Mark and Alice. Through this party, Mark and Alice will be able to find a new support network based on their neighbors. In addition, local service providers and other interested organizations will be present so that direct links can be forged between these and those in need of support and information, including, of course, Mark and Alice. This should eventually prove of advantage to all concerned. The hoped for result for Mark will be that not only does he create new links and get vital information, but that he may find once more a life which is worth living. Once the brief was defined, the team started to prototype their idea in order to describe the problem that they were trying to solve or the change they wanted to make, define how the idea would work, including the assets and resources needed to develop it, and how Mark would interact with the service, and to explain the impact of this idea in Mark's life and eventually throughout the community. Although Mark is obviously struggling to access the available local services, there is no way that these services themselves can take the place of the natural network of friends and neighbors. A different approach is needed to re-establish this network, and so to address some of the most pressing challenges Mark is facing. A primary task will be to contact and enthusiasm the local services and other organizations so that they will willingly give their support to the initiative, together with practical help in such things as displaying posters and otherwise publicizing the event. When street parties actually happen, Mark and Alice are invited to join without any formalities or obligation. They can meet new people and become more knowledgeable about local activities suitable for them in an easygoing atmosphere. Local residents as a whole should benefit from the vibrant local community which can result. The result should be that Mark and Alice become more aware of their local activities and services and find those sources which most closely fit their needs. By their involvement in the improved local network, they and eventually the rest of the community should remain more closely connected with all aspects of the locality.